In the last video, we saw that these are the Kenites, descended from Hamath, father of the house of Rechab, which is the Rechabites. So we have the Cainites and the Rechabites here. This phrase, which is from 1 Chronicles 2, verse 55, and we've referenced it many times, is the same value as Judges 9:26. So let's have a look at that, and I'll show how this entire chapter is loaded with cainite stuff. So we'll end up going through the entire chapter, but bear with me because there's a lot of little clues here, and some that I'm probably even missing. I'm sure of that, actually. So here's our verse 26, 9:26 in Judges. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, came with his brothers, and they entered Shechem, and the inhabitants of Shechem put their trust in him. So Gaal, the son of Ebed, he was from another nation. Okay. So let's have a look quickly. Gaal ben Ebed. This is interesting to me because the Ebed is the name of someone here, but this construction is the word for the servant or slave, which is the Ebed. And there is a concept of the Ebed Kanani, which is the non-Jewish slave or servant. Think of all the other times you've heard the word Eved or slave used in the Torah. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, we'll keep going. I think we should start at the beginning to get full context of what's happening here, and then we can search for little clues that have to do with the cainites. Okay. So this is Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem to his mother's brothers, and he spoke to them and to all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying, Speak now in the ears of all the men of Shechem. What is better for you, that there rule over you 70 men, all the sons of Jerubbaal, or that one man rule over you? Now remember that I am your bone and flesh. So 70 men. 70 often comes up. There's a saying that there's like 70 laws in the Noahide code, but also 70 nations comes up a lot. So we're gonna skip down a little bit here, and here we see gave him 70 pieces of silver of the house of Baal Barit. And Abimelech hired with them idle and hasty men, and they followed him. So we have people following Abimelech, and we'll continue down. Here we have 70 men upon one stone. Okay. And all the inhabitants of Shechem and all Bet Milo assembled, and they went and made Abimelech king by the plain of stones that was in Shechem. Plain of stones. Okay. And they told it to Yotam, And he went and stood on the peak of Mount Gerizim, and he raised his voice and called, and he said to them, "Listen to me, you men of Shechem, that God may listen to you." Okay, and this is pretty interesting. The trees went forth to anoint a king over them, and they said to the olive tree, "Reign over us." So the trees went forth to anoint a king over them, and they said to the olive tree, "Reign over us." An olive tree, interesting. The first olive, when I see the olive, the first thing I think of is Noah with the dove comes back with a comes back with an olive branch, and there are stories that that branch actually had some olives on it. But anyway, so the olive tree, it says in the rashi here, is referring to Othniel, the son of Kenaz. And if you, from the tribe of Judah, so this is where we get Kenites from. So, referring to Othniel, the son of Kenaz from the tribe of Judah, because remember we said Jabez is a Kenite of Judah, which is called an olive tree, as it says, like a fresh olive tree, beautiful in form, and this refers to the cities of Judah. So we have Othniel, son of Kenaz, the tribe of Judah, is the olive tree. But the olive tree said to them, so there's one little hint of Kenite stuff. The olive tree said to them, actually, let me go up and have one more look at this. Let's look at the word Kenaz here, see if it matches up to, oh, it's not here in the, not here in the Hebrew. Okay, let's carry on. But I've seen, and you'll see in later videos that, and in the sources, it all points to this is Kenazite. Okay. But the olive tree said to them, "Should I leave my fatness, wherewith by me they honor God and men, and go to wave over the trees?" Okay, and the trees said to the fig tree, "Go you and reign over us." So the fig tree apparently is Deborah. Okay, we're going to keep going here. So we have this conversation among the trees, and then the thorns here, cedars of Lebanon. Okay. And then we see even Midian down here, so I'll read this. "And now if you have dealt in truth and with sincerity, i.e. set like 7 laws, in that and beyond, of course, that you have made Abimelech king, and you have dealt well with Jerubbaal and his house, and you have done to him according to the deserts of his hand, deserts of his hand. For my father fought for you and cast his life aside and saved you from the hand of Midian." So here's another Cainite clue. Saved you from the hand of Midian. 70 men upon one stone. Okay. Let's go down to our verse now. Okay, so we have Abimelech ruled over Israel for 3 years. Forcefully and arrogantly he held his position. And God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the inhabitants of Shechem, and the inhabitants of Shechem betrayed Abimelech. So a spirit of hatred. that there might come the injustice done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal, and their blood which he shed now, to be placed upon Abimelech their brother, who killed them, and upon the inhabitants of Shechem, who strengthened his hands to kill his brothers. And we're continue. Here's our verse. And Gaal, son of Ebed, which we said earlier was the same word or construction for servant or slave of God, which comes up other places in the Torah, as we'll see. And they entered Shechem, and the inhabitants of Shechem put their trust in him. He was from another nation. And then Gaal comes up against Abimelech, challenges him, and we have a confrontation here. And here we go. And Gaal, son of Ebed, went out and stood in the entrance of the gate of the city, and Abimelech and the people that were with him got up from the ambush. This is interesting. And Gaal said to the people, and said to Zebul, Behold, people are coming down from the tops of the mountains. And Zebul said to him, You see the shadow of the mountains as if they were men. And Gaal continued to speak and said, Behold, people are coming down from the navel of the earth, and one company is coming by way of the plain of Meonanim, and from the navel of the earth, the strength of the land, from the highest mountains. And then they have this. And Abimelech pursued him and fled before him, and many casualties fell, even until the entrance of the gate. And Abimelech dwelt in Arumah, and Zebul drove out Gaal and his brothers from dwelling in Shechem. Okay, the people, and it was on the morrow that the people went out to the field, and they told Abimelech. They went out to the field, the people of Shechem. And he took the people and divided them into 3 companies, and laid in wait in the field. And he saw, and behold, the people were coming out of the city, and rose up against them, and struck them. Okay. And Abimelech fought against the city all the day, and he captured the city and killed the people that were therein, and he broke down the city and sowed it with salt. And all the inhabitants of the tower of Shechem heard, and they came to the forest of Bethel Brit. And it was told to Abimelech that all the inhabitants of the tower of Shechem had gathered. Okay. And Abimelech went up to Mount Zalmon, he and all the people that were with him. And Abimelech took the axes in his hand, and cut down a bough from the trees, lifted it, and laid it on his shoulder, the trees. And he said to the people that were with him, What you have seen me do, hurry and do like me. So cut the tree. And all the people cut down every man his bough, and followed Abimelech, and put them nearby the forest, and set the forest on fire upon them, so that also all the men of the tower of Shechem died, about 1,000 men and women. Okay. Now there was a strong tower within the city, and all the men and women and all the inhabitants of the city fled there, and shut themselves in, and they went up to the roof of the tower. So I'm very interested in this word, the roof. Perhaps I'll do something on that someday. So it's Gimel Gimel. And it comes up in other episodes as well. So Abimelech came to the tower and he fought against it. And he went close to the door of the tower to burn it with fire. Now this is where it gets good. And a certain woman cast a piece of an upper millstone upon Abimelech's head and crushed his skull. Who is this woman? Okay, so we'll have to search up and see if we can find clues for a certain woman. But here's one that stands out immediately. So a certain woman took a piece of upper millstone threw it upon his head and crushed his skull. Check this out. A piece of upper millstone, which is called rekab. So it's the same construction as the word rekab is in Rechabites. It's the same root. In a sense, it's the same construction. The resh, kaf, beit. What are the odds that this woman, do you think, could have been a Rechabite or a cainite, given the other clues in here? So we see, here it is, Rechab. And he called hastily to the young man, his weapon bearer, and said to him, "Draw your sword and kill me, lest they say of me, a woman killed him." And his young man pierced him, and he died. So this woman kills Abimelech, and we have a precedent for that in Yael, who also kills a person of importance in Sisera. Now the men of Israel saw that Abimelech had died, and they departed, every man to his place. Thus God requited the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did to his father in killing his 70 brothers. Who else killed his brother? Cain. And all the wickedness of the men of Shechem God requited upon their heads, and there came upon them the curse of Jotam, the son of Jerubbaal. So, lots of little hints of Cainite and Kenites and Rechabite activity here. Let's see if we can find something about this certain woman. So I took and it says, and a certain woman. It only exists one time in the entire text. I've already checked it out. But one of the first hits that comes up is again in Genesis 6:2. So this is and a certain woman. And Genesis 6 we've come across before. And it says here, B'nai Ha'alakim. So we've already said these are the children of the judges or the elite, or the people who should have known better. And it says, Et Benut Ha-Adam. So in the English we have the children of the judges. And this is where they get involved with the daughters of Adam. So the daughters of man. So the sons of the judges or the elite got involved with the daughters of man. So because they saw that they were beautifying themselves. So I'm just going to check, because this is a little bit enticing. Let's see if there's any hints that this could be someone like Yael. the Kenite woman who we know killed Sisera. So let's see. Her episodes existed in Judges 4 and 5. Okay. Alright, so let's look at this. And here are some matches in 4 and 5. Let's see. Here's 4. Here's Sisera. Right here. And 4:18 is right around. Yes, this is Sisera. Let's go have a look at this in English. So 4:18 and 22. There's Sisera again. And then she also in this one says blessed. So this is the one that says, "Blessed be Yael, wife of Ebed the Cainite, blessed above all women in the tents." So blessed above women is Yael. Let's go have a look at these in English. So Judges 4. $4.19 or $4.18. Alright, let's go back to our thing here. Alright, here is Sisera. Sisera again. And then, so 5:24. Yael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Turn in, my lord, turn in to me." And he turned into her, into the tent, and she covered him with a garment. And then, behold, Barak pursued Sisera. And Yael came out to meet him, and she said to him, "Come, and I will show you the man whom you seek." And he came to her, and behold, Sisera lay dead, and the pin was in his temple. Those are the matches. And let's go up to 5:24. This is right after, "Curse you, Meroz, said the messenger of the Lord," which we saw earlier. "Curse you bitterly, you inhabitants thereof, because they came not to the aid of the Lord, against the mighty." And then this is our verse. This is our match, actually. "Blessed above women shall Yael, the wife of Ebed the Cainite, be. Above women in the tent shall she be blessed." So there is little hints that this person, this certain woman, probably comes from the same background as Yael. She was likely a 7-law following noahide, cainite, or Rechabite. This seems to be... There's lots of hints in that chapter in chapter 9, and they seem to match up here in chapters 4 and 5. So we see here, blessed above women. And then here's Yael, right here. So anytime, I would encourage anyone to go have a look at Judges 4 and 5 and 9 especially. Right. So if you have any interest in this type of thing, you can give me a comment, or you can email me anytime at JethroAndTheKenites JethroAndTheKenites@gmail.com. I will be making a more detailed version of this with the sources at some point. Thank you.